Hello, hello. Anyone that's been following me for a little while will notice the progression in what I've been sharing. I've been on a journey to finding myself for several years, and it really started in earnest about 5 or 6 years ago when I joined the online space. Now, this isn't about the online space. It isn't about trying to sell you anything. But it was this decision that I made that really birthed in me the desire to find myself in earnest. I knew that to really be successful in life or in business, I had to know myself, because only in showing up real could my life be real. So this journey took me through the mind as far as I could go with the mind, and really studying lots of things um, in an attempt to shift the mind from negativity to positivity, and to focus away from what I didn't want towards what I did want. But it never took me to my true self. Each time I thought I found myself, I found a new set of concepts, and I was still in the mind, and I was still this separate being. Um, I guess trying to prove myself, to prove my existence, to make myself worthy of receiving the abundance and the life that I wanted. Over the last couple of years, my journey has taken me out of the mind and into the heart. And at first, it was challenging. It was a constant um, awareness of shifting from the mind back into the heart over and over and over again. It was an awareness that I became really good at, really discovering and recognizing when I was living from the mind and when I was living from the heart. And, what I've really come to understand is that I am one with everything. I am part, should not say part, because I am the infinite, and so are you. You know, we all have our own unique qualities and gifts to bring to this world. But all of those qualities and gifts belong to the one. And it's only in recognizing ourself as this one infinite consciousness, infinite awareness, infinite love, infinite God, infinite source, that life truly starts to make sense and really starts to turn around. A friend introduced me to a series on YouTube called 40 Days and 40 Nights. It was part of A Course to Love, and it really began to change my life in a big way. Before that, I had a calling. I've been a channel for many years, and, each morning I would ask that today I show up as my higher self so that I can serve to the greatest in my world. And about 2 years ago, I was told that my highest self that I could be was God. Now, I thought, wow, that's pretty big shoes to fill. I've never been religious, but this self-inquiry took me on a journey that's taking me so deeply into truth, or at least my truth, that it's undeniable. And I realize that when I look at my experience, and I can only speak from my experience, believing that I am this separate person, this body mind, the world was very scary. You know, I really became much of a recluse. I didn't trust myself, and thereby I didn't really trust a lot of others. I always felt that I was separate, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't interesting enough. And, therefore, a lot of attempts to be amongst the world really failed. And I would come home back into my own little haven, disappointed. And I realise now that all of these fears that I had been living with were birthed because I thought I was a separate being, because I thought there was me and something else. And because I thought there was me and something else, I became vulnerable. That something else could encroach on my world, could determine my experience, could hurt me. So, even though I was working on the mind and shifting beliefs, I still had this underlying fear, which was born out of separation. Now, coming back to the course of love and the 40 days and 40 nights that, I have been listening to every single day for must be almost 2 years. It's these videos, these 40 videos, which are meant to be enjoyed morning and night, are actually part of a book. And I have been reading this book, A Course of Love. It's by Mari Perron. It's all channeled text. And I was reading this morning about relationships. Now, relationships, according to this channel text, is the only truth. It is where God is birthed. And relationship isn't between two separate beings. It's actually the recognition of the one self in all. Now, I just want to read you a little section here. This really stood out to me. It said, in your continuing desire to have a relationship only with the world without, so this is believing you're a separate person and the world is out there, this is what causes such a world to remain. This is because your definition of relationship is not one of joining. What you join with becomes real. As you take it into yourself, you thereby make it real because you make it one with yourself. This is reality. All you do not join with remains outside and is illusion. For what is not one with you does not exist. Now, this little quotation, joining with you, this is where presence comes in, and you'll notice that more and more that what I've been sharing, both here on YouTube and also on my socials, is being about presence, about being this oneness. And oneness, of course, is recognized in presence. In presence, there is no human mind, there's no ego, we can only come into presence in that pause, in the stillness between breaths, in the stillness between words. And when we come into stillness, we become one. We become one with our true self, with our infinite self, with this God that is all that is real, that is our true self. So just for a moment, close your eyes and just, without your mind, notice what's there. Can you find the edge of yourself without thought? This is just pure sensing, being with. Can you notice the edge of you? Can you find it? I can't. When I come into this space, all I feel is love. All I notice is a spaciousness. There's no edges. There's nothing sharp. It's pure peace. It's love. And in this stillness, I can recognize my truth, myself. And when we can be with this presence more and more often, we learn the skill of taking this presence out into the world with us. We can carry this presence through our conversations, through our experiences, through our relationships. And in presence, we are one with our true self. And this true self is infinite. It is this spacious energy of love that has no borders. So when I meet another, when I meet an object, when I have an experience or a conversation, the energy that I am merges or becomes one with the energy of everything that is around me. And this is what is being spoken of in this book. This is the joining of self with other to make real. So what I am willing to merge with becomes part of me and part of my real world. And what I judge through the mind, what I keep separate from me, what I see outside of me is separate and is not real. And until I'm willing to merge with it, it cannot become part of the truth of who I am. There is one other little piece here I wanted to read. Within you all, the world is safe, sure, and secure. No terror reigns. No nightmares rule at night. Let me give you once again the difference between what is within and what is without. Within is all that is joined with you. Without is all that you keep separate. Within you is every relationship you have ever had with anything, remembering that relationship is a joining, it's a merging of energies. It's a becoming or a recognizing of oneness. Outside of you is all that you have kept apart, labeled, judged, and collected on your shelves. So all that is outside of us is all put and kept outside of us because of the ego mind. Without the ego mind, there is no judging, no labeling, no stories, no need to collect because there is no fear. This is all the two worlds are made up of. The one you see as real is the one you keep outside of yourself, making it possible to look upon it with your body's eyes. The one you do not see and do not believe in is the one you cannot look outside to see, but is the one, the nonetheless truly real. To look inward at the real requires another kind of vision, the vision of your heart, the vision of love, the vision of the Christ in you. So you can imagine if you're looking and being in your world in presence, what you see through the heart, you merge with, or you recognize the oneness with, is even better, because you don't need to merge with something you already are. It's recognizing yourself in these others, in these things, in the situation, in the experience. And all you meet with is love, because you are the essence of love. That's what you are in truth. And I just think that, really for me cemented where I've been playing and the understanding behind it. We can continue to live through our mind and believe in a world outside of us and live through judgment and labels and stories. Or we can move into our heart and live in presence and unite and live in that heaven on earth. It's available to all of us because all of us are God. All of us carry this love within us, even if we've lost touch with it. Love isn't something we can learn, but it is something we can recognize. And it might be, hugging the new grandchild or playing with, your pet. But whatever it is, recognize that that feeling of love that you have isn't coming from the other. It's coming from yourself in the recognition that you are one with this other. And this is why relationship is where the recognition of God reveals itself. Thank you for listening with me. I hope you're enjoying these shares and would love your comments. If you enjoy what I'm sharing, like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. And I look forward to more conversations. Biggest hugs.